Good evening and welcome out to tonight's Tackle Trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading. I'll be taking you around the site this evening, show you around a little bit, let you know who we are, what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that fun stuff. So hopefully you can get to know us better. Before we dive on into business though, really quick, just like to highlight here, coming up this evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so about an hour and a half from now, the one and only Coach Gino Poor will be doing a special webinar on trading options right here on this YouTube channel. It's going to be a good, solid watch. A lot of fun stuff. Always enjoy listening to Gino talk options. Should be a very informative webinar. Hope to see you over there. Again, that's tonight. It is the 6th of June as we're doing this right now at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on this YouTube channel. With that said, let's kind of dive right into who we are at Tackle Trading. I mean, really, at the end of the day, we're just a group of traders that have come together, share ideas, work the markets together, bounce things around, answer questions, help one another out in any way that we can. That's really just who we are at Tackle Trading. However, when I'm explaining and kind of walking through Tackle Trading, I like to kind of break it down into three parts. The things that you can do on your own, that's going to be some courses and blogs, some of the tools that we have available, the things that you can do with others, our live content that we're doing on a regular basis. And then lastly, our weekend reports where we share ideas and thoughts on the market going into preparation for the upcoming week. So that's going to be kind of the angle that we come at it here tonight as well. So let's kind of take it with that first block there and the things that you can do on your own. And for me, courses are the really first thing that comes to my mind in that regard. We have a variety of courses that we have available to all of our premium members, including the 7-step guide to trading. This is kind of an introduction course. If you're new to the market, it's probably extremely helpful. Even if you're not, though, it'll kind of introduce you a little bit to the tackle trading approach to the markets. I guess I'll log in there. Don't know why it logged me out, but so be it. There we go. Always fun. No two traders are exactly the same, but we do kind of share a core philosophy about the markets here at Tackle Trading and kind of have a general approach that we all believe in, from starting at the top of the markets and how we're choosing our strategies. We're big watch list traders. So how are we finding and building and maintaining those watch lists? Of course, planning, placing, managing the trade, journaling the trade. If you're new, again, this probably be very helpful. Get you some organization, get you, it's easy to spend a lot of time working and not get a lot done if you don't have a good routine down. Should be really helpful from that point. If you're a vet, you probably have a routine that you're pretty comfortable with. Maybe there can be a couple of additional ideas that you can find in here that can be helpful as well. Beyond the 7-step guide to trading, we do have an introduction into technical analysis 101. Of course, as traders, we're going to be doing an awful lot of charting, right? And that's true regardless of what products we trade, whether it's options, stock, Forex, futures, Bitcoin, whatever product, whatever time frame, whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, a position trader, a cash flow trader, we're all going to use technical analysis. So the more we understand it, probably the better, right? Of course, we have an options course as well. This is really going to focus on what's happening with that option contract. Why does it do the things that it does? Why is it priced the way that it's priced? Why does it move the way it moves? The more we understand the contract, I think the easier any of the strategies are going to be for us as we're learning them. We're not going to talk a ton about strategies in there. I'll show you where that is here shortly, but it really is important to understand why the contract is doing what it's doing. If you've ever had interest in learning more about the futures or the Forex markets, and I know not everybody has interest in those markets, and that's fine, but if you have, we offer courses into those markets as well. In some ways, they're very similar to the stock market. In other ways, there's definitely some things that we need to understand if we're going to trade in those highly leveraged markets. It can be a great place to start. We also have a System Development 101 course, and regardless of what products you trade, what time frames you trade them on, I think we all understand that it's important to have clearly defined systems and rules in place. It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. And the System Development course is really designed to help our team get a better handle on truly developing trading systems. It really is a fantastic course. And regardless of whether or not you're brand new or been doing this for a really long time, I think it is something very much worth your time. I would definitely take some time and work through that System Development course. Beyond our pro member courses, we do offer a handful of premium products. These are one-time purchases. It's a fully fleshed out system. The system is yours for life. We get together with each members of these teams once a month in a mastermind group. If you'd like a little more information on any or all of them, you can find it over in the store tab, or of course, feel free to send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. But to kind of just let you know what they are, the Tackle 25 is a covered call based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year with the intent to cash flow via covered calls. Step system is our approach to swing trading the markets, just stands for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors, another cash flow system, this time using credit spreads on the Russell 2000. And the bear market survival guide, kind of exactly what it sounds like, protecting ourselves from bearish turns in the market and then dealing and navigating those turns once we get them, particularly from the longer term perspective. So if you have any interest in any of those, feel free to head over to the store tab or send us an email or ask about them in Discord. Lots of ways to get some information on those. Not everything has to be a course or an hour live webinar or anything like that. We do regular blog content, sometimes in written, sometimes in video form, whether it's more charting in the Tales of a Technician, kind of taking concepts from the ground up over in the Rookie Corner, options in the Option Theory blog, hearing from our awesome female trading community in the Women in Trading blog. So just, these are going to be relatively short reads or watches, depending, talking, 5-minute reads, 12-minute watches, things like that, but just additional ways that we can answer questions that our team might have for us, share ideas as we're working through the week with the team. Just another way that we can reach out to our community on a regular basis. Over in the Trade Center, you will find a couple of things. You'll find a link to our clubhouse, our trading glossary, our trade journals, which we'll talk about in a little more detail shortly, as well as the Tackle Trading Playbook. Here in the Tackle Trading Playbook is where you will find our strategies and the rules that we have in place for those strategies. We break our strategy selection down into 3 camps based on the option Greeks, Delta, Theta, and Vega. Our Delta is our directional playbook, right? I think the stock's going from point A to point B, from 25 to 30, from 50 to 47. Right, from point A to point B, movement is the name of the game when it comes to delta trading. So of course that would include things like buying, stock or selling stock short, but it's also going to include, buying options, buying calls, buying puts, doing debit spreads, diagonal spreads, etc. Then you're going to have the Theta playbook. This is the cash flow side of it, right? The cool thing about options is we can sell them, bring in that premium, and take advantage of time decay. So that's going to be things like selling covered calls or selling naked puts or doing credit spreads or doing iron condors, right? Cash flow based strategies. And then lastly, the Vega or the volatility playbook, where we're playing our expectations on the volatility. I always think earnings personally when I think about volatility plays. We're not too far away. About a month from now, it's going to be, real close to earnings season. And while there's no way I can know if company's going to, gap up or down on earnings, I might, based on the history of that company, have a pretty good idea that it is likely to gap on earnings because it has a tendency to do so. Maybe build a trade that profits as long as it moves a lot, whether it's up or down. So that'd be things like straddles and strangles and what have you. In all of these, there will be a detailed video kind of going through, the strategy, what it is, why we would do it, how we would do it, our rules for it, risk reward profile, all that good stuff. There's also a little downloadable PDF cheat sheet. So you have easy access to the rules. Hey, how much time am I buying or selling? What's my delta rule? All of that good stuff. You'll also notice that on all of them, there's anywhere from a 0 to a plus or a -3. This is just kind of where we see it along kind of if you kind of think about a spectrum, with a 0 being neutral, no opinion whatsoever, plus or -1 being slightly bullish or slightly bearish, 2 or -2 being bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 being very bullish or very bearish. We always want to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? If we think this stock's going to fly, we might want a more aggressive strategy, right? If you think it's going to slowly grind up over the summer in a nice, consistent, but slow trend, you might do a different strategy, right? And so we always want to match the strategy to the situation. And this is just kind of where we see these strategies fitting along those lines. So that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this will bring you kind of to a What's Up at Tackle Trading page, kind of let you know what's our next show, and the information to get into it. So in this particular case, it'll be Coach Gino over in the options webinar here at 8:30 Eastern. Our most recent posts, uh, a our recent tweet, a watch list that you can build for yourself if you would like to do so. Either a replay or a showing of one of our YouTube shows, the halftime report, the options webinar, whatever it might be, where you are in any of the courses that you're taking, a little mini calendar of the upcoming event. So it really is just kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page. I think at least there's also a variety of tools in here as well. You'll find a link to the market skyline. This will just bring you to a page that has all of our big stuff in one place, right? As part of the top-down approach, the first step in the 7-step guide to trading, we're going to be starting with the market, right? The S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, looking at the major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude, etc. The sectors, how these different sectors looking as part of a really healthy daily routine, in my opinion. And while it certainly doesn't have to be on this page, I think this is something that we all want to incorporate into our daily routine. We just wanted to have an easy, convenient place. Hey, it's all in one spot, right, to go through that routine. There's also a link to the Finviz heat maps in here as well. If you wanted to take a look at, the day that was in the S&P 500, can be a different visual, but certainly it could be a helpful tool as well. This will take you right directly over to finviz.com and that heat map for the S&P 500. You'll find a news aggregator. This will go through some of the bigger financial sites, the Times, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, etc., and just kind of get the headlines organized for us, right? In a really easy to process way. If I'm interested in this story, Amazon, 20-for-1 split. I think a lot of us are interested in it because, well, now we can finally trade options on it. So it's been kind of a pain in the neck to trade. At least a lot of us, myself included, tend to think, hey, maybe that's a story that I want to read. Maybe you don't care at all about that story, right? So it's just an easy way to kind of quickly roll through. Hey, this is interesting. I'd like to read it. Sure, we could get to these just going to the side and bouncing around, but this is really just designed to save us some time, right? Make it a little easier on ourselves. You'll find a link to the economic calendar so you can see what's on the docket for the day or for the upcoming week that could impact our trading. Another link to our market reports, which you'll also find here on the drop down. We'll talk about here in a little while. Come back to the trade journals in just a second. The compounding gains calculator, a chart if you ever need one, another link to that glossary, a link to the search function, which you can also use this little magnifying glass up here. And the search function is pretty smart. So if you're ever looking for more information on something in particular, it can be a great place to start. Of course, never hesitate to ask. But a lot of times it's the easy and fast. It's a pretty smart search function. You'll find another link to our trade journals in here as well. I'm going to go ahead and come into it. As we saw earlier, you can catch the journals also on the drop down of the Trade Center. But if you come into it through the Trade Center, through this link like I just did, it will take you directly to the tutorial page. If you need a little bit of help figuring that thing out, there's no shame in that. Got that tutorial video right in here. We have 3 different trade journals. We have the trade journal, which is probably kind of what you're thinking. We need to tell it what we did, when we did it, what we paid, how much of it we did, right? And then it's going to track the rest for us, our profit loss, how long we were in the trade, how long are we in average in trades, what's our winning percentage, what does our average winning trade make us, how much does our average losing trade cost us, all of that good stuff in that trade journal. And of course, every trade we make is data if we allow it to be. If we collect that data, we can make targeted changes based off of what we are experiencing, right? And that's why that trade journal is such a powerful, powerful tool. There's also the theta research tool in here. This is where we can build and compare our cash flow strategies, right? Our credit spreads and covered calls and things of that nature. Say we have, 4 stocks that we're looking at to do potentially some bull put spreads on tonight, but we don't want to do 4 bull put spreads tomorrow morning. We want to maybe do 2. Well, we want to kind of compare them fairly against one another, right? To see which one, or which, in this case, which 2 really stand out. Well, the theta research tool will help us do that. It really is going to help you kind of compare apples to apples, if you will, on those database strategies. It really is a fantastic tool if you are a cash flow trader. And then lastly, the portfolio journal, just to kind of keep it all organized, right? For some people, that's easier than others. Some people are, day trading and, they are in and out in the same day all the time, right? Some people just might have 3 or 4 trades going on at a time. It's pretty easy to remember where they're at. But other folks might have 27 different trades going, right? Maybe 20 of them are part of their long-term stuff that they're doing covered calls on. But it can be easy to get unorganized, right? And we don't want to be unorganized as traders. So the portfolio journal should really help you stay on top of that. If you come into the trade journals through the Trade Center like we did, just select the one that you want. You can easily download it directly from this page. So that is the trade journals. That's going to kind of wrap up that first wave of things that you can kind of do on your own as you are ready, as you're interested. Now let's talk a little bit about the schedule. We're going to start every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern right here at Tackle Trading in our Traders Lounge. We get together with the team for an hour early every market day and just talk markets and answer questions, right? So we all have questions sometimes, and we need a place where we can discuss those things, right? And so maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy, and it would be helpful to kind of walk through it. Maybe you've got a really interesting chart set up, you think, and you wanted to kind of get some other thoughts on it. Maybe you're struggling with managing your trades. Maybe you've got a trade you're, kicking around a couple different management techniques on. Really, we just been talking about trading in there, right? And whatever our team needs any given day, that's every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for our Traders Lounge. Shortly after that Traders Lounge, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for the Tackle Trading Halftime Report, that live looking at the market as we work through that daily routine, as we work through and take that top-down approach, right? So what's going on in the news today? How is it impacting our index charts, right? What are the commodities looking like? Sectors, stocks in the news, really going through, I always say the market's like a big soap opera. And just like any good soap opera, once you're caught up, staying caught up is easier than getting caught up, right? And kind of following along. That's exactly what we're doing every single day at 12:30 p.m. Eastern in the Tackle Trading Halftime Report. So every market day, whether it's in the lounge here at Tackle Trading or in the Halftime Report on our YouTube channel, we will be working the markets with our team. We're also going to do a lot of teaching content as well, starting with the Coaches Show. On Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do the Coaches Show. Coaches Show is a lot of fun because it's a place where we can get in and talk trading and go deeper into some of these concepts, right? Whether it's, moving averages, whether it's, buying calls versus buying bull calls. There's a million things that we could talk about as traders, right? The Coaches Show really allows us to narrow it down to one thing and have a really in-depth discussion on that subject. It really is a fun way to engage with the team. It is live on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It is, however, recorded and archived. So if you need to rewatch it, if you can't make it, if you need a more convenient time, if you want to watch an episode on a subject that interests you from 3 months ago, very easy to find there in the archives. But that is Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern for the Coaches Show. Thursday nights, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. Going to be a little more narrowly focused, as the name kind of gives it away, on those cash flow strategies, right? So building and managing those cash flow plays, credit spreads, naked puts, covered calls, iron condors, right? All of that fun stuff. Certainly, I think a lot of us here at Tackle Trading embrace at least some degree of cash flow trading in our overall trading plans. And our Cash Flow Club is a place that we can get together every Thursday night and really just focus in on those strategies. Just like the Coaches Show, it is recorded and archived, so you can easily catch it at a more convenient time or rewatch it or whatever you need to do. You will notice we have a Tackle 25, Mastermind Group, Step System, etc. And these are going line in line with those premium systems, right? The Tackle 25, the Step System, the Cash Flow Condors, and Bear Market Survival Guide. As I mentioned, we were talking a little bit about them. We get together once a month with members of each of those teams in a mastermind group. We invite all of our pro members to join us in those discussions. So whether or not you have the step system, you're more than welcome to come in and join us in that monthly mastermind group. Same goes, of course, for the rest of them. We have a tremendous team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading, and they get together about once a month in their Women in Trading mastermind group. I obviously don't get to go. It tends to be towards the end of the month, as a general rule. We've got one coming up here on the 17th, it looks like, and of course, I just came into the events calendar here. We'll be sure to promote it as that event approaches, but the easy place to find the links or anything for any of these shows in that events calendar. But Coach Emily and the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading get together about once a month in that group. I cannot tell you for certain what happens there, but I do know them, and I know what awesome people and traders they are. So I have no doubt that there's a lot of fun being had and a lot of learning and good discussion going on. If you are a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, I would certainly keep a lookout for that and join in with the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading. Kind of an overly simplified way to think about it, and this is overly simplified for sure, but the lounge, the morning lounge, is really for our team's needs. What do you need to talk about today? What do you need to go over today? That's exactly what we're going to do. The halftime report is really about that daily routine, about starting at the top of the market, about staying on top of the market. And then the evening shows are going to be a little more teaching oriented, right? We can take deeper dives into all of these different subjects. An overly simplified way to think about it, sure, but hopefully it can help you keep organized as you're kind of getting to know us. On Wednesday night, we do a couple of different things. Right here on the YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar, where a couple of the coaches will come together with 3 different trade ideas: a Delta trade idea, a Theta trade idea, and a wild card idea. They'll bounce them off one another, and members of our team in the chat who will vote each round on whose idea they like the best. At the end, a winner is declared, and that person is the trade master for the week. It's really designed to share ideas with our team, to beef up our midweek watch list, and it's an awful lot of fun, and hopefully you can find some good trade ideas, of course, in there as well. That's 7 Eastern on Wednesday nights right here on the YouTube channel. Shortly after that, we are going to head over back over here to Tackle Trading at 8:30 Eastern to do our Wednesday night Traders Lounge. So this is going to be very similar to our morning lounge, but maybe we have folks that their schedule doesn't allow them to join at 11 a.m. Eastern. Maybe they're at work or have other commitments. So we of course want to make sure we have a place where they can come in and get help or ask questions if they need to do so. It's going to be really similar to the morning lounge. The only real exception is, of course, we're just coming out of that Trade Masters webinar. So if anybody has any questions or wants to take a deeper dive into any of the ideas that we discussed in that, of course, we're more than happy to do that as well. So that's going to be kind of what the schedule looks like. We will be doing other things as well, such as Coach Gino's options webinar come up here in about an hour on a regular basis, but not quite as regimented basis as our other shows. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what the schedule looks like. We'll keep you busy and never feel. We do a lot of live content, and we like it that way, and we can plan on continuing to do just that. But that doesn't mean you have to be, you don't have to catch all of them. We invite you to, we welcome you to, of course. But I always tell folks, don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading, right? It's okay if you prioritize, one thing or another. It's okay if you have your schedule and it's a little different than somebody else's, right? No shame in that whatsoever. But no, you're certainly welcome and invited to join us in all of the live stuff that we're doing. We just don't expect you to be in every single live show that we are doing. Let's talk about our weekend reports now, that third area of tackle trading. Now, on Fridays, we're getting together as a team of coaches in what we refer to as our scouting report meeting, where we're talking markets, sectors, commodities, trade setups, scanning the markets together, coming up with a game plan going into the upcoming trading week. Out of that scouting report meeting comes our tackle newsletter, our stock options and commodity reports that we get delivered to our team by Saturday afternoon, so they have plenty of time to go through them before the market is back up and running. Of course, we start at the top of the market, which is exactly what we're doing in the Tackle newsletter each week. Coach Gino makes sure everybody's ready for the upcoming week in the market. So, talk a little bit about the week that was, what happened in the market, how did it impact things, right? What's the mood of the market, if you will? Talk a little bit about sectors and the volatility index, the upcoming economic calendar. Of course, we'll have a video going through this stuff. Make sure everybody's ready to rock and roll. Where the broad market is, where we have the different indexes, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, and things of that nature. We're also going to look at the internals of the market, going to look at over 8,000 stocks to kind of take a peek under the hood a little bit, if you will, kind of let our team know kind of what we're seeing on that side of it. We're going to be ranking the sectors each week, and that's going to be reflected here on our gridiron. Again, we'll kind of talk you through the process in the video side of things, but a couple of things that I always like to mention with our sector rankings, because it's a big part of what we're doing each and every week here at Tackle Trading. You'll notice that we've got 3 different colors, right? You got blue, gold, and purple, if you will. You'll also notice that we're using the sector spider ETFs to reflect those sectors. You can find those sector spider ETFs right down here. And very quickly, if you're not familiar with them, the ETF, they're ETFs. They come out of the S&P 500. The ETF provider's website is just www.sector, the word sector, spdr.com. You can take a closer look at how they're built and all that fun stuff over directly at the ETF provider's website. But in a nutshell, going to go into the S&P 500, pull out stocks just in that area. So energy has been awesome, right, all year long. Plus some XLE is the sector spider energy ETF. Goes to the S&P 500, pulls out just the energy stocks. It's coming out of the S&P, which means it's weighted, right? You can learn about those weightings over at the ETF provider's website if you'd like to do so. But it's given us an isolated look at the energy sector, right? Versus, say, the utility sector, versus, say, the communication sector, right? These are ETFs, which means, of course, they're tradable. These particular ETFs are tradable through shares or options, whichever we prefer. We are going to be using them to reflect these sectors. Now, that doesn't mean we're ranking it specifically off of what XLE looks like. That is part of our consideration, but is only part of our consideration. We're looking at all of the stocks that comprise these ETFs and then some as we're coming up with our rankings on these different sectors each and every week. You're going to have our growth sectors as technology, discretionary, and communications represented in the blue. You're going to have the cyclical sectors, financials, industrials, basic materials, and energy represented in yellow or gold. And the defensive side of it here in this purple-ish color, that's healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities. We're going to be moving them up or down or keeping them the same, depending on what's going on each and every week. Again, we'll talk you through that process and our ideas behind it in the video portion of it. You'll also notice we put it on a football field, right? Kind of between the 40s is neutral territory. Between 40 and 20 is slightly bullish, slightly bearish. Between the 20 and the goal line is bullish or bearish. And then it's very unlikely that you're ever going to see us put an entire sector into plus or minus 3 territory. That's more aggressive than we are. That's certainly more aggressive than I am. But if you think about it, for something to be that aggressive, that means almost if probably every single stock in that entire space has to be showing that tremendous amount of strength or weakness. And there's almost always an outlier, right? So if you are a football fan, you don't need me to tell you this, but there's not a lot of touchdowns that are scored, right? We spend a lot of time between the 20s, and then we get into the red zone, the 20 to the goal line. That can be, it's tough to punch it in from there, right? At least that's kind of the idea when it comes to football. So we'll talk you through it. We'll kind of be adjusting each and every week. It is a big part of what we are doing. And again, if you need the sector ETFs, all of them are right here. If you need the ETF provider, want to learn a little bit more about who these guys are, how they're built, how they're weighted, all that stuff. Again, it's just sectorspdr.com. At the end of our meeting, we will each share our favorite bull and bearish trade idea from our upcoming stock or options report in our rapid fire segment. Just a fun way to end the meeting and share some ideas with the team. We are active over on Discord. Certainly invite you to come join us over there. It's a fantastic tool. It's a great way to be able to interact with other traders, whether it's to share ideas, ask questions, joke around. throw some memes, whatever it might be. It's a lot of fun. It's a fantastic tool. Easy to join us right over here. Hope to see you over there. But that is our Discord. Just a friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation, right? You'll find a pre-built scanner in here as well. So if a particular area has caught your attention, if you said, yeah, you know what, I really like the way that energy space is looking, we can just quickly head over here. I'm going to hit this charts button back over to our friends at Finviz. Close that ad. And this is just going to bring us a list of what I refer to as trader-friendly stocks. And when I say that, I simply mean they're very liquid, so it's easy to trade shares. They're borrowable, so if I want to go short the stock, that's not a problem. They're optionable. Now, just because a stock is optionable doesn't mean its options are super liquid or easy to trade. I would say as a whole, most things, in this scan are pretty easy to trade with options, but I would also say that in every sector scan, there are some names that I personally, and I doubt I'm alone, would be interested in trading options. Liquidity is just not there. But whether it's through shares or options, I'm going to be able to put together a trade on anything that I find in here. And that's what I mean when I say trader friendly. As you can kind of see here, it's just going to give us some side-by-side charts, right? MPC rocking and rolling, but maybe we feel like that one's moved up a little too much. Maybe this Matador here that's kind of consolidating, it looks like, over the last week. Now, I could never make a trade off this tiny chart, nor would I try, but I can say, hey, that's kind of interesting. Let's take a closer look at that one, right? Go actually look at it in my charting platform. So just an easy way to quickly scroll through a bunch of stocks in a particular area that's caught your attention for one reason or the other. Get some things. Hey, let's go take a closer look at this one, and this one. See if there's something there. It really is a helpful way to quickly scan a particular area. Of course, we'll have that for all of the different sectors. A quick world watch into some final thoughts going into the upcoming week. Again, we do start at the top of the market, which to me means we start with the Tackle newsletter, right? But we also have our stock option commodity report. Coach Mark does our commodity report for us each week, does a great job keeping the team up to date with what's going on in the world of commodities. He's going to talk about the technicals. He's going to talk about the fundamentals. He's going to talk about the themes that are working within those different commodities. Even if you don't trade commodities over in the futures market, there's a lot of stuff that we can do through the equities and ETF market to take advantage of what's happening, whether it's, ETFs like GLD that tracks the price of gold, right? Or GDX, the gold miners, or proxy stocks. Well, FCX tends to go with copper. Mark does a great job each week highlighting that side of it as well. A lot of great opportunities to take advantage of in the world of commodities, whether we are trading over on the futures exchange and literally trading, gold futures, or trading gold stocks or gold ETFs, right? Or cash flowing those things. A lot of good things that we can do over there. Mark does a great job each week, making sure everybody's up to date there. Our stock and options report are going to be built fairly similar to one another in the sense that each week we want to make sure that we have some good quality technical setups going into the upcoming week, whether it's bullish trade setups or bearish trade setups. These are swing trading setups. So you're going to be seeing retracements. You're going to see, little pullbacks, right? Like on go here. You're going to see, breakouts like Monster here. You're going to see reversal candidates like Toll Brothers here. They're going to be swing trading candidates. And that's kind of how we're built. We want to have both bull and bear lists. We are watch list traders here at Tackle Trading after all. The option report, stock report, that's true in either of them, right? And some people just like to trade options. Some people just like to trade stock. A lot of us like to trade both, right? We just want good opportunities. Where we're going to really differ, of course, is going to be in the option report. These things are all, at least according to the coaches at Tackle Trading, all of us would be comfortable trading options on them. We're comfortable with the liquidity. We're comfortable with the bid-ask spread, all of that fun stuff. The stock report, maybe not. Maybe the options are fine, but maybe they're not. Maybe the stock's plenty liquid, but the options just for one reason or another aren't, right? And that might not be the only reason it's the stock report. Maybe it's because of its price, right? It just might be a low price stock that makes some sense to just play the equity on, for example. But that's where we're really going to differ. It's going to differ a little bit in the discussion as well, right? In the option report, while technicals are just as important, right, we're going to talk a little bit more about strategy selection, right? Why this might make sense for a bull put instead of a bull call right now, right? Kind of talk about the strategy side of things. Stock report, we're just kind of coming at it from an equity point of view. So we're kind of thinking more about the process, right? The pattern, the moving averages, potential entries and stop losses and targeting and all of that good stuff. But just know that we want to have a good quality watch list regardless of what we're trading, right? And most of us here at Tackle Trading, I think, are open to both, right? There's a little bleed over, right? If you find something in the option report where you just prefer to trade stock on, it's not going to be a problem. If you find something in the stock report, but you just really want to trade options on it, go check the option chain. Might be plenty liquid for you. If it is, great. If it isn't, okay, it's not, right? Not much you can do about it, right? We'll play the equity or we'll just pass. It's okay either way. But we just want to make sure the team has some good quality ideas going into each and every week, regardless of what products they're trading, stock, options, commodities, or all of the above. Do want to make sure that we have some good ideas. A couple of things really quickly. You can hide the watch list just by hitting this button right here. So you have a little bit more chart to work with. Smack it again, it'll bring it back. Say you are interested in setting up a trade. This guy right here is where you can either build a long or a short position. So say you're interested in a breakout, you like Toll Brothers, but you need to see it get above 51.52. And that's where my entry is. I'd like my stop loss kind of below this base of this little last week or so of price action. And I like a target kind of coming back up into this 56 range. Well, it's going to let me know what I just kind of threw this one together, right? So just kind of an example, but it's going to let me know what my risk to reward is for every dollar I'm risking. I have $2.18 of potential profit. Maybe I feel like, you know what, I could be a little more aggressive on my target. Oh, that's my $3.07 for one. Maybe I feel like 54 is the target that I'm working with. Let me know my risk reward, risk a dollar to get $1.17. Most traders stick to the 2-to-1 ratio, right? Myself included. And maybe that's what I see here on Toll Brothers and say, you know what, the risk to reward's not there, right? So it's a really helpful tool to help you visualize it, let you know what the risk to reward is. Of course, you can do it for the long or short side, depending on what you're doing. If I don't need it or anything else, I'll just click it and I'll hit that trash button. That'll get rid of it for you. Because these are swing trading candidates, we're defaulted to the daily chart, but there is this little drop down here. If I want to change my time frame, if I want to look intraday for a potential stop loss location, if I want to look at the weekly, see this thing from a longer term perspective, very easy to do on that drop down. As you can clearly see, it's defaulted to candlesticks. That's what most of us these days use as traders. Certainly, that's what we use here at Tackle Trading. But if you are one of those folks out there who still prefers bar charts, very easy to switch it over right here as well. You can add an indicator or two. Just be aware that the indicators will not save or any lines or anything like that you draw on the chart. If you leave and come back, they're not coming back with you. So before you get too crazy and put on, a whole bunch of indicators, just be aware that, they're not coming back to this page with you. But a couple of different things that I always find useful and like to take a minute to kind of share on these embedded charts because they can be some time savers, be helpful. I use them quite a bit at least. So they're helpful for me. Again, we'll get all of these delivered to our team by Saturday afternoon. So they have plenty of time to go through them before the market's back up and running. As we get wrapping up here, a couple of other things. Our tackle today is our daily email. If you would like to get it each morning, going to send some quick thoughts for the upcoming day, as well as the lineup and the links for all the stuff. Hey, what's the schedule looking like today? How do you get into all of this stuff? Very easy to sign up for the email directly on the Tackle Today link. We will get it posted in here. It will get delivered to your inbox faster, but if for whatever reason you just prefer to catch it here, you can do that as well. At the end of the week, we do the Huddle podcast, just a quick podcast talking about the top 10 stories of the trading week in a quick, unbiased, hey, just what was it, right? Not a spin, not an opinion, just the top stories of the week. You can listen to the Huddle podcast directly if you go to this link that we just did, or you can find it on any of your favorite podcast providers. Just to make sure you didn't miss anything in the market or anything along those lines. Each week, our friends over at tradingjustice.com do the Trading Justice podcast, a fantastic financial podcast that you can catch directly over at tradingjustice.com or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. I just watch it over at tradingjustice.com. I guess listen to it because I'm not much of a podcast guy. So I just listen to the Huddle on the Huddle page, to the Trading Justice podcast over on the Trading Justice website. But I know a lot of people catch them on the actual podcast providers. Very easy to do. Definitely a really good addition, in my opinion, to the weekly routine. So hopefully you will feel the same way. That's tradingjustice.com. They also do a really great monthly newsletter over at tradingjustice.com that's always very informative and a really detailed dive into something or another. So definitely worth checking that one out as well. Again, that's tradingjustice.com to catch that. We are, of course, active on all the different social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So if you're on those platforms, I certainly invite you to join us. Come on over. Another way to interact with other traders is always a good thing. If you don't use it, you don't use it. That's fair enough. You're never going to get me to use Facebook, so I get it. So, of course, here on the YouTube channel, we're probably at this point best known for our live stuff, the halftime report, probably first and foremost, the Trade Masters webinar, our special webinars, right? But we have a lot of other content on our channel as well, a lot of how-tos, walkthroughs, Thinkorswim tutorials, and they're always thinking of new things to add over there. So would certainly appreciate a subscribe. If you enjoy our content, it really does help us within the world of YouTube, hitting the subscribe, that notification bell, and hopefully it helps you navigate the wide world of YouTube as well, let you know when we go live and all of that fun stuff. At the end of the day, as I kind of brought up a little earlier, don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. We're going to keep you busy, right? And someone brand new to the market versus somebody who's been trading for 5 years might use a little bit different. And that's okay, right? Everybody here's got each other's back. We want to see each other succeed. We're always happy to help one another out. If I don't know the answer, maybe I know somebody who does, right? Don't be afraid to I always, with trading, you have to fit it into your life, right? Not the other way around. You can't, so whatever that means, different things to different people, right? But, try not to get overwhelmed. If you have questions, always reach out. There's a lot of ways to do it. The lounge, Discord, right? Send us an email, hitting the clubhouse, whatever it is. A lot of ways to reach out if you need something. Never hesitate to do just that. Well, I'll let you get out of here. But again, just a quick reminder that Coach will be live here in about 45 minutes. 8:30 p.m. Eastern for that options webinar. Gino knows a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to options. Definitely worth checking that one out, I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. I thank you so much for your time. And of course, I welcome you to Tackle Trading. Thank you so much. I'll be looking forward to seeing you around. I can't imagine this will be it. I'll see you in the different shows. I'll see you on Discord. I'll see you on Twitter. Who knows where I'll see you, but I have no doubt that I will be seeing you. Until then, have a great night. If you're not a pro member, we do have a standing offer, free 15-day trial. You can find it in the link of any of our YouTube description of any of our YouTube videos. You can also find it over in the store tab. We're happy to get you set up with a free trial, see what we're doing on the back end, see if it's a good fit. Hopefully it is. Again, there is that standing offer. Appreciate everybody's time this evening. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a great week, both in and out of the market. And I will look to see you